Welcome to the 21st and final round of the FDC League. This was an 18-minute qualifying session leading to a 25% race at Abu Dhabi. The first terminal crash I ever had in a league was at this track. Back in 2010 I was missing the apex of turn 2, so one lap I decided to turn in a bit early and my car struck the inside barrier. So this time I was determined to finish the race and decided to test the limits of the track, not just for the sake of going fast, but also to see where the dangers were. I think it's good to find the limit beforehand, so that during the race you can drive within that limit. I had the slowest time in the previous race, but I seemed to do better at Abu Dhabi. It was going to be a dry race, and I felt confident starting on the soft tyre this time around. I was second just behind Dorian, who was on the medium tyre, but then TJD went faster at the end, taking his second pole position in a row. Dorian had secured the championship, but there were still a lot of positions in the standings that could change. Beaumont had qualified just behind me in 4th, and Darrow just behind him in 5th, and all three of us had our best qualifying result from that session. To the race start, and I was never really sure what revs to start on. 13k revs seemed okay, but I heard it was a bad idea. For some reason I wasn't really feeling in the zone. I don't know if it was because it was the last race, and I was wondering what I was going to do in future, but it's like I was just distracted, so I couldn't focus on everything that was going on. And it didn't help that I had Darrow creeping up on my right, and Beaumont veering over from the left. The space I was going to break into behind TJD evaporated. At first I was a little miffed because I didn't think there was space on the right, and Beaumont's car didn't give me much of a chance to react to him braking, so my wing was damaged. But watching the replays back showed something a bit strange. On my replay you can see Darrow's car did have space on the right, but then on Beaumont's replay, if you watch Darrow's car, it doesn't even go right, it goes left. Beaumont's live recording and my live recording also share this discrepancy, so when Beaumont moved right to slot in front of my car, on his view it looked like I also had space to move right, so it's a bit unfortunate that discrepancy happened, and I think it's only fair to judge Beaumont on what he was seeing. So I should have been more awake and realised that I needed to brake even earlier, even if that meant someone bumped into the back of my car. It is what it is. Dorian got held up by Beaumont, so I was back up into 3rd, but obviously had some wing damage. Darrow's live recording showed that he did go right, but on his recording Beaumont wasn't ahead of Dorian. So Dorian slowed down for no reason. On Dorian's live recording, he did have Beaumont ahead after Beaumont snuck around the outside, so Dorian got dropped down to 6th position. Beaumont's live recording reveals what really happened. He went wide and picked up that illegal overtake message, so he drove off the racing line to hand the position back. In hindsight, because you get 15 seconds to hand the position back, he may have been able to wait for a better opportunity to slow down, and afterwards I wrote that suggestion into the rules, but that's hindsight for you. Fragweiser didn't set a qualifying time, so he was trying to make places from the back, and as usual he had some pace, and I believe he would have been on fresh tyres. At the back HD Gamer was sideways and collected Alex, but Alex's car got away without damage. He got past HD Gamer a couple of laps later. Dorian made it back past Italus and made it stick. Dorian of course had already secured the championship, but I'm sure that he wanted to fight until the very end, and I would have done the same thing. Jason was out of shape at turn 12, and it was almost an opportunity for Dorian. But all three of them tried committing to turn 14, and Dorian got bumped from behind. He spun back around just before Alex arrived, and was clearly not having much luck in this race, but his car was still in one piece, although he was running in last position. He had 13 laps to try and salvage something, but then his day got a little bit worse. Italus came back on track, so now Dorian had some wing damage. Beaumont's recording shows the turn 14 drama. It looked like Italus tried to commit to the corner, perhaps in defence against Fragweiser, which by the rules of this league he would have been entitled to do, as Fragweiser wasn't properly alongside, so Fragweiser should get his nose out of the corner. But Italus was so close behind Dorian that as Italus committed to the corner he just bumped Dorian. I think Fragweiser being there did trigger Italus into colliding with Dorian, but Fragweiser showed me his theatre replay, and at the end of the day it looks like Italus' car had shunted Dorian completely of its own accord. Fragweiser's car had some contact, but Fragweiser didn't shunt or push either car, he just got tapped. HD Game had taken some damage from the incident, Beaumont's car was damaged, and he struck Italus under braking and got a bizarre 5-second automatic time penalty for corner cutting. Italus, I think, had tangled with HD Gamer. Beaumont then pitted for a new front wing and went onto the hard tyre. A one-stop strategy on mediums may have worn down a lot by the end, so the hard tyre may last a bit longer. He had to serve his 5-second time penalty, and adding the wing change made it one of the longest pit stops. I felt the time penalty was unfair and removed it from the race result. On the pit exit, Beaumont was dropped down to 9th.
Exit now.
I pitted a lap later, having stayed out with wing damage, and was hoping not to have too much tyre wear by the end. So I was hoping my mediums would last the 11 laps.
Exit now.
Mondorian stayed out and got past Spellman on lap 3, but did eventually stop early and also take a wing change, which costs a few seconds, but I think it does pay for itself. So Mondorian was looking at the remaining 9 laps on softs.
Release.
Darrow had a good pace and went for a very normal pit stop. He had half of the race to go on fresh medium tyres,
Exit now. We're racing on the exit. Go now.
and he was just behind my car, so with my tyres wearing down he may have had an advantage against me there. Mondorian swung into the hairpin, taking a run up against Jason, getting past him cleanly, which moved Mondorian up into 6, and he still had 5 laps to continue his recovery. He didn't need any more championship points, but he was clearly not going to give up. It looks like he cut into the corners of turn 12 and 13 perfectly, using all of the track and avoiding corner cutting penalties. He was hard at work chasing down Alex, but then on lap 11 Alex had a terminal crash, which can easily happen on the exit of turn 2. Mondorian was now up into 5th, and could see Darrow ahead of him. Darrow edged ahead of my car into turn 8, and mine got a little bit sideways. I don't know how much of a factor the tyre wear had. The next lap I tried to do the same thing, and I don't think I braked too late, but my car just didn't slow down, so I ran over the corner. And again I was wondering if the tyre wear was affecting my grip level. I was then busy defending against Mondorian and didn't press my shadow play button. Having DRS on the second DRS zone more or less kept me ahead of Mondorian, and there's not really an opportunity in the rest of the lap to get through, as you easily get stuck in the dirty air. After no less than 4 second places, TJD crossed the line, finally taking his first win. And if you have the speed, then I think that shows the power of qualifying on the soft tyre, so that you can secure pole position and get through turn 1 in the lead and avoid the drama behind. A good race for Fragweiser, matching his best result in second, having started in last position. As Darrow had an automatic time penalty, he was demoted to 4th, which put me on the podium. Mondorian with some bad luck, but had recovered to 5th and was only 12 seconds down in total, and had taken the fastest lap by over half a second. Jason a best finishing result in 6th, Spellman 7th, Beaumont 8th, HD Gamer 9th, Italus 10th, and a terminal crash for Alex. Shout out to Blackbeard who wanted to attend but couldn't, and also to Keg who couldn't do Monday. As you can imagine, there were a few penalties for this round, but they didn't change the order. So our final championship standings, we start with Lobville in 34th, then it's Ginger with an earlier 12th position, Rotograph 32nd with an 11th, Yapsinho 31st with an earlier 11th position, The Iceman 5 points in 30th, Kaiju 5 points with an earlier 8th result for 29th in the standings, Squeaky 5 points with an even earlier 8th in 28th, Gordon Ramsay 6 points in 27th, Limbo 7 points in 26th, Keg 8 points in 25th, Gexar 8 points and a better highest result puts him in 24th, Alien Outlaw who made the FDC logo for this series 10 points in 23rd, Desomri 18 points in 22nd, Jason 23 points in 21st, Shark 26 points in 20th, Colour Lonely 26 points and a better highest result in 19th, HD Gamer 32 points in 18th, Alex 45 points in 17th, Beaumont 51 points in 16th, Italus 52 points in 15th, Darrow 53 points in 14th, Hickster 55 points in 13th, The Bumpy Flump 59 points in 12th, Spellman 62 points in 11th, and our top 10, Tulsa 64 points in 10th, Recycle Finn 77 points in 9th, Blackbeard 93 points in 8th, Fragweiser 102 points in 7th, Justice 163 points in 6th, Meistermodo 168 points in 5th, then it's yours truly, handling league management, video editing and of course commentary, with 186 points in 4th, TJD 205 points in 3rd, the Almighty 226 points in 2nd, and our champion, congratulations to Wandorian, with a lead of 51 points for a total of 278. So that was our final round of the first series, and in true FDC fashion it was of course a dramatic one. At the time of editing this video there have already been more FDC races, so you'll see more videos on this channel soon. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this series. Thanks to the drivers for helping make it what it was, and we'll see you on the next video.